Greetings, and thank you for coming to my speech. Nowadays, it can seem quite difficult to dedicate a lot of time to one thing with how distracted we often get, either with important things, important people in our lives, or something as mundane as scrolling on your phone, which is something that happens to me quite often. Though given with how smartphones often improve in terms of their design, software, different screen sizes, and variety of features, it's quite easy to see why that happens a lot of the time. And we're on the cusp of another one of those changes that may change the public interest in smartphones forever. The folding phone. I will discuss the early history of folding phones, the technology behind it, and the current models of folding phones to see how they've changed from their original, to show how the future for folding phones is looking brighter rather than bleaker. In which case, folding phone technology has been in development for quite some time, with the first functioning folding phone to be showed off in 2018, and it was the Royale FlexPi, which was later released in 2019. To quote Android Central with an article written in 2020 by Joe Marion, before any mainstream tech company was ready to show off a folding phone, we had the Royale FlexPi, end quote, and another quote. It's noteworthy for the fact that the FlexPi was the world's first folding smartphone, end quote. And while being first can be revolutionary in a variety of different technological fields, it doesn't often mean that you're going to be the best at whatever you're doing. Many reviewers noted their concerns for the durability of the screen, given how it folds on the outside in comparison to most that fold inwards, which you will see later, as well as the software, which wasn't as high quality in comparison to others. The next notable mainline folding phone was the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold, in which case it was supposed to be released in April of 2019, but was delayed to September of 2019 due to many reviewers' devices being outright broken through just normal use or through mishap. And even when it was re-released in 2019, it still had the concern of the durability throughout the device as a whole, given the fact that you could remove a simple plastic piece of it and it had the possibility of breaking the entirety of the device. The next type of folding phone is the folding flip phone, in which case it is called that because it flips like an older flip phone. In which case, the two most notable examples of this are the Galaxy Z Flip and the Motorola Razr. Another notable fact about the Galaxy Z Flip is that it is the first foldable smartphone that uses an actual glass display, while the older folding phones that you've just seen earlier used a plastic to fold, which I will get into why that is later. Although it is the first to use glass in its folding technology, there were still some concerns with the durability of the device in terms of its screens and in terms of the hinges. In the case of the Motorola Razr, having issues with the hinge being creaky whenever opened or closed. You may be wondering, with these sorts of folding phones, what makes them so special in the first place? What differentiates them from a regular phone that could be messed up easily by these big name companies? Well, to understand that, you have to understand what makes the folding phone a folding phone, which the most unique part of it is the screen. To understand the screens, most screens on folding phones are AMOLED or OLED in this case. And to explain that technology, I have a video transcription from Business Insider in 2019. One of the things that happens with an OLED screen is that the pixels, the light portion of the screen that emits light or that displays an image, is actually built into the screen itself. So the LEDs are on the actual screen technology instead of being behind it and projecting through a glass pane, end quote. In this case, just like with the example on screen, if you would take OLED and put it on thin plastic, you'll be able to bend it in ways that at first you weren't able to bend glass with. Although with recent cases in some recent phones, like even as early as the Galaxy Z Flip, you are able to use that technology on glass as well. As well as the next piece of technology to be vital to folding phones is the hinges, in which many companies have to test their hinges over 200,000 times to make sure that they can last the lifetime of what a normal person would have a phone for. Now that you can see the technology behind folding phones, and you may be able to understand how these older devices fell in one aspect or the other, or in both. We can discuss the newer devices, the current models of these folding phones, in which case they try and fix as many of these issues as they can by providing new takes on the technology as well. The first example being the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 2, which in this case it has an improved hinge over the original, which is for dust and debris and other sorts of things to stop that from getting in there. It removed the camera notch from the inside of the display, like the original, and the display was changed to the similar glass display of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip, a similar technology. The Motorola Razr 5G, the 2020 edition, had an improved hinge, which removed the creaky noise and overall was a higher quality, as well as the outside display being a bit bigger for better usability. The last smartphone known for its uniqueness is the Microsoft Surface Duo, in which case, instead of like how all of these phones are one foldable actual display that bends one way or the other, it is two separate displays on a hinge that can either open up like a book, as you can see in the middle, open up to each side, as you can see on the right, or close like a notebook, as you see on the left. This phone, by many reviewers, was known for its incredible design in the hinges and just how it's built, but one con of the device is the fact that the software was not nearly ready for public release, even though the phone was released to the public. In conclusion, folding phones had a bit of a rocky start. Given these big companies even had trouble with it, that's quite easy to see. But with the fact that this field only started within early 2019, late 2018, and how quickly these improvements are becoming and how vast these improvements are with only just a year, it's quite easy to see that folding phones have a brighter future rather than the bleak one that was first thought of.